take it over.
Yeah. That was awesome. I love music, Edith. Thank you so much for playing that. So it keeps gives you that high energy, and also when we use it for creation. A lot of times, if I need to create something from scratch, I'll just plug in my headphones and just go crazy. It's cool.
It's amazing. Music is so inspiring. And every time I hear Sia or Shakira, I just jump up from my seat and start dancing. And it just gives you so much energy and creativity.
I agree. It feeds the soul for sure. So, all right, we're actually live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to um, our Power Up You and Your Business to the Next Level Business Summit today. I'm so excited to be here with all of you, and we have a big party. We're streaming live in all these different audiences, and I invite you all, if you have time, to join us inside the chat, and let us know where you are actually virtually from. The beauty of this beautiful global world that we now have access to is that we can join from anywhere and really, reach so many people and have such a big impact. And that is going to be the purpose of this summit today. I have amazing speakers lined up for everyone. But the main purpose behind the summit is my personal story of why I always think that our message is very important and we need to share with the world, because we never know who we can impact. And through our story, our personal struggles, everything we go through, and also our ways that we add value to the world, we're able to make a bigger impact. So, speaking of that, I am going to introduce myself for all the new audiences that are joining us and everyone that is joining us live. I am Elena Lepari, best-selling author, host of the Life School Masterclass show, and also CEO and founder of the Life School, where we help mission-driven entrepreneurs scale their 6 and 7 figure businesses to the next level through proven marketing and sales strategies so they can build a business on purpose. I'm sure all of us as entrepreneurs have been called to serve in a new way and have actually built our businesses or started our businesses in order to make that bigger impact. So I want to thank all my amazing speakers that are coming on today, and I want to invite you to stay until the end. We have about 60 minutes that we have planned for this amazing summit, and I'm a big value giver, and I'm very oriented towards service. So we will make sure that everything that we share is going to be value packed for you. And I also know how time is the most important commodity today. And I value all your time, the speakers' time that have come and joined us today, and also you as the audience. So I promise you will hear something today that is going to spark that next thought in you, or that next inner light in you, so that you could take the next step and the right action that you need to do to scale your business and life to the next level, as is the theme of our summit. So I will be starting with my first speaker. I have Danielle right here on my screen, Danielle Wilson. Danielle, thank you so much for coming. And we would love to hear more about your story, introduce yourself, and also your topic that you'd like to share with us today.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for inviting me, Ilona, and thank you for having me. It's amazing to be in such great company with other successful, beautiful business women from around the world. My name is Danielle Wilson, and I help anxious female overachievers avoid burnout and create balance in their life without medication or guilt. And we do this by creating systems, processes, and boundaries that feel safe. So I myself have actually fully burned out once and almost burned out a second time. I have a 30-year career leading and managing businesses where we've developed multi-million-dollar growth. And just around the time that COVID started, I became the general manager for a major medical company here in Canada. And as I'm sure everybody has experienced throughout COVID, there are stressors that were added on to our lives that we weren't expecting. that we weren't prepared to cope with. And so already being a general manager of an organization like that is stressful in itself, but I had the skills. I was equipped to do that. When we layered on the complexity of people's emotional responses to what was happening in the world, the feelings of unsafety, the insecurities, the polarity of what different mandates and policies did to people and how they felt. Well, when you layered that on top of all the other stresses of the job, it just became quite overwhelming. It doesn't help that I've always identified as a person with anxiety. I no longer do that, but I did for 40 years. And so being a massive overachiever, perfectionist, people pleaser, riddled with anxiety, I'm sure you can imagine you're hearing all these, oh my God, how'd she do it? How'd she do it? Well, really the fact is that somewhere around the beginning of January of 2021, I wasn't doing it. And fortunately, having had the first burnout in my mid 20s, I was recognizing the signs as they were coming up. And I have an excellent relationship with my husband. He is truly my partner. And he was able to say things to me like, do you see that you're doing this? Are you aware that this is happening? Can you see the conflict that's happening here at home? Things like that. And things like, I just want my wife back. So I was really fortunate to have that support system here at home that was able to help me, but not all of us have that. And so now I am actually on a mission. I decided to leave my gig as a general manager last fall when I realized that I have some skills that can help some women live better lives. I don't just have to teach people how to sell, which I'm also very good at. I don't have to just run a business. I don't just have to be an analyst and a strategist, and I don't have to do all of that. I can make a real difference in the world and in women's lives by helping them to recognize the signs of burnout and then teaching them how to avoid it. Because the problem with burnout really in the long term is if we don't fix the root causes of it, it repeats, it becomes habitual. In fact, if you don't fix those root causes, you actually have an 84% chance of a burnout recurring. That's a big chance. And if you can imagine, burnout, some of the signs are things like chronic or persistent headaches. I had headache every single day for years. Irritability, being quick to anger. If you have anxiety, there's this increase in anxiety. There's this sense of overwhelm that happens. Your panic attacks increase. You have difficulty sleeping or suddenly develop insomnia if you've never had that before, and you're exhausted all the time. The fatigue is so real. But then it starts to impact things like your memory. You forget simple things. You start to lose trust in your own judgment, your own ability to make decisions, because you can't concentrate properly. You have a lack of motivation. You see all of these things in front of you and you can't figure out, oh my gosh, which one's the highest priority? Which one do I do first? Which one do I spend my time on? So you have this analysis paralysis. You become restless, or on the other side, perhaps you become listless, where you simply don't want to do anything. But if you can imagine the impact that these symptoms have on your daily life, and it's not just your career, right? It's actually your career as well as your home life, as well as your friendships, as well as your connections with loved ones. It's your relationship with your children. And for me, it was the relationship with my children and my husband that was absolutely the most critical thing for me. I had worked hard to ensure that I had a great relationship with my kids, not perfect, definitely not perfect, but a great relationship. And so as I started to, I guess, avoid the burnout, I started to really take note of the specific steps that I was taking in order to do that. And what were the things that I had done in life already to prepare me for that? And one of the most important elements, and I don't know that we all think about this, burnout is physical, but it's also mental. And in terms of overcoming the mental elements, there's a lot of mindset, mind over matter, a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of self-esteem, a lot of, in many cases, lies that mother told us about ourselves that we continue to believe that stand in our way. One of the biggest ones for me was needing to be perfect at everything. And if it couldn't be perfect, I was devastated. I needed you to like me. I needed you to be happy with me. I needed you to approve. And I know so many women who are in this same place. And as we move up in the ranks in terms of our career, that pressure becomes even greater. And sadly, that pressure, that stress that we put on ourselves, it's bad for our mental health, but more importantly, it's actually bad for our physical health. Stress has a really negative impact on our immune system through the way that our body has a natural reaction to stress to increase corticosteroids, cortisol, all kinds of other hormones and other things that happen, systems and what are the word I'm looking for? This happens to me a lot. It's part of being 52, sorry. Alzheimer's disease, not Alzheimer's yet, just Alzheimer's. Anyway, so these systems in our body, they start to actually shut down. They can no longer work as effectively as they would when we are in a non-stress situation. Really, stress is creating an artificial fight or flight response. And when we are in constant flight mode, we don't get a chance to relax. So there are physical things that happen to us. And if you've never heard of adrenal fatigue, which of course is very controversial about whether or not it exists, that is really the ultimate, the drowning, the burning of the burnout. It's this adrenal fatigue element where your systems simply start to shut down. And so that's what I want to help women to avoid. And I do that through one-on-one coaching. Have I used up all of my time?
Wow, I love that, Danielle. Thank you. You shared so many important points there. I could relate to so many of those, but most important, I love how you've been able to really align your background, all your experience, and kind of utilizing that in order to kind of be at this point in the journey when you want to help other women overcome a lot of the things that you've helped yourself overcome personally and the way that affects them. And I could relate to so many of everything you said, from burnout to perfectionism, to all these things that always show up, especially as we are building businesses and we're on this mission to really be in the journey of entrepreneurship. All of these show up in so many different ways. And a lot of times those are signals so that we can get the right support and guidance to really look within and to start to, heal some things through the process of, empowering ourselves and seeing how it's affecting our business, personal life, all of that. Because in order for us to be fulfilled, we need to be overall, right? We need to be happy in all the other areas. So thank you so much for sharing your message with us today.
Thank you.
Awesome. And now I go to my next amazing speaker, Edith Wallach. I hope I'm saying your last name correctly, Edith. Thank you so much for being here and share with us a little bit about you, what you do, and also what you like to share with us as far as your value-driven area of expertise, what you do best and what you feel the most inclined to share with the world.
Sure. Thank you so much, Elena. Elena, sorry, I got that wrong. Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you, ladies, for welcoming and for coming here to share your stories. And I can so much relate to your story as well, because that's what it takes. It always takes so much of us in order to move forward, to make that huge step, huge leap forward, to create something. When we bouncing back from fear, from emotions, from falling down flat on our faces, we bounce back, and then we come powerfully and start to share our stories. So I'm Edith Wallach. I'm a brand and design consultant. I started my business a year and a half ago, so not too long. I'm a new entrepreneur, and I'm a new publisher of a magazine called Courage Magazine Global, to support women in business and to share their stories of how they started their business. And because our personal and our business stories are so connected together, and it's so amazing to share that story with wider audience, to be known globally. So I'm coming from all different backgrounds. I have nearly 20 years experience in design. I always have been a graphic designer and a head of design and head of marketing department, uh, and and I'm bringing all that expertise to the table to create my business and also support women who are starting businesses. And where I'm coming from is like I always hid behind computer, behind the screen, and I didn't want to be visible. I just wanted to work. I wanted to serve customers, and I never wanted to show up. And my fear of speaking as well was huge. It was so huge that it sometimes in a corporate world, during our boardroom meeting, I would be clenching my jaws so hard and preventing myself to speak up and have voice and have that courage to say what I wanted to say, to acknowledge other people, or to say what's working, what's not working during the meeting. And I couldn't because I was stopping myself. And that internal fight within myself was preventing me to speak up. And so I started my journey about not even a year ago. Started healing that trauma, started healing everything, and I released about 20 years of worries and fears. And I just want to support women doing the same thing and support women starting their own businesses and stepping into their power and stepping into their courage to finally follow their dream. Because my mission is to support women stepping into their courage and power, and to recognize authority within themselves so they could create a big impact in the world. And of course, I support women with design. I support women in creating all the different graphics, video editing, all of that. But I am also a leadership coach, and I can support women stepping into that and releasing that fear of judgment, fear of holding back, and fear of not feeling enough, not feeling valued. Um, so I hope I can support somebody. If anyone has any questions, that would be amazing.
Wow, thank you so much, Edith, for sharing that. That was awesome, and I can relate to so much with this visibility part. I also was a executive CEO, and I know so many times I hid behind the table in a male-driven culture in the company I worked for, and second doubting myself. Really thinking about who wants to hear what I have to say, and not even having the courage to speak up and actually have something to say and have your voice be heard. So kudos to you, and especially in the online space. I always say, if people don't know about you and about your message so that you're able to serve them at a higher level with your offers or everything you have to offer, how is it that you can make the impact? And of course, everything relates together. Visibility, I always say, equals impact, and also income comes right after that, right? Because the more people you're able to support and show up, the more you're actually able to grow your business as well. So I love what you shared, and I would love to get a little bit of maybe a few tips around your expertise around marketing and branding, as you said that you help support new businesses and also people that are looking to scale their businesses. What is it that we need to know as far as what you would like to share with us as far as the marketing side of things?
Sure. So around marketing and branding, the most important thing that businesses can do is to create their brand guidelines and to be consistent. Consistency always works. Of course, you can be consistent, but and consistent, that wouldn't work. But once you create your branding, then stick with it, and then move forward. And if you are not seeing the results, then rebrand, and then you can start. But the best thing is to stick to the branding that you create, and then see the results. And how branding, small businesses, of course, they don't have much resources to invest in branding, but it doesn't have to be expensive. And it doesn't take much to create a brand. You just get to be consistent with your messaging, and consistent with your colors, with your imagery, and everything else will flow.
Yeah, I love those tips. Thank you so much for sharing those. And I love what you said with consistency, because we kind of fall into the line of what I do as well. Consistent message, and the more you go with the flow and you evolve your brand, the more your messaging becomes clear. And sticking to anything that we need to build, it takes a lot of consistency, because we also, need to train our audience. People need to expect that we show up and we give value and all the amazing things that we do in increasing our visibility, so that we can build that brand. And all these businesses that we see, it took them at least a decade, right, to get their name out there and to be known to the clients that they serve. So definitely takes time. But staying consistent with your message is very, very important. Thank you so much, Edith, again, for sharing everything you did with us so far. Awesome. Now I'm going to my next speaker, Gwen Davis. Gwen, thank you so much for being here, and I'd love to hear more about what you do as well, and the area and topic that you'd like to share with us.
Thank you so much. I'm super, super excited about being here. I'm Gwen Davis Yancey, and I'm going to mention that I'm an attorney and Mindshift wealth strategist. And there's a reason for that. I actually help strong business-minded women who really are perfectionists and have a touch of the imposter syndrome. I help you to shift unhappy mindsets so that you can get happy, you can scale up your business, scale down your cushy job, and actually build wealth. As strong women, it seems like we have the answers to everything. It seems like we can do everything. But most of the time, and many times, and I struggled with this for so long, inside you kind of feel like a failure. You feel like you don't belong at the table. You feel like well, I need to compare myself to this person, my capabilities to that person. And it really doesn't matter how many degrees you have. It doesn't matter how many certifications you have. It doesn't even matter how much experience you have in your expertise. You can still be struggling with this, this imposter syndrome, these negative, unhappy mindsets. I used to say that I was a crusher in the courtroom, but felt crushed outside of the courtroom. And, so many professional women feel that way because we have to wear so many hats and we have so much stress on us. And we really disconnect with what it feels like to be happy. We disconnect with, even I had to relearn how to have fun, because you can reach an age where it's almost like, I don't even know how to have fun anymore because life is so serious. It just seems like it's so serious. And so, you're constantly comparing yourself. You're constantly trying to please people. And you've had, like me, I had a lot of tough experiences growing up. I was bullied. They didn't call it bullying when I was growing up. They just thought, well, it's just teasing. It's not. It really impacts your self-esteem. It impacts how you feel about yourself. It impacts how you're even able to look at yourself in the mirror. I didn't know how to receive compliments. If somebody said to me, oh, you're so beautiful, I couldn't relate to that because that was not my experience, because of everything that I went through and all the names that I was called and everything. And so I really help connect with identifying those unhappy, negative mindsets initially that are related to building their dream business. And I mentioned dream business because most of us, and I believe really everybody, has some sort of dream inside of them. It's connected to their passions. It's connected to their gifts and talents, what they would do, even if they weren't paid, even though you need to get paid. But it's this in you. And I know for me, I used to see myself on stage when I was growing up. I wasn't singing. I wasn't dancing. I wasn't playing an instrument, even though I could do all of those. And I'm not saying I'm a good singer, because I'm not, because I was always, if I need to be in a group. But I played violin, I took ballet and all that stuff, but I wasn't doing any of that. I didn't know why I was on this stage. And most of us have seen images in our minds, in our hearts, of us doing something. Maybe we haven't put it all together, but it's that dream business that is connected to what I call your wealth room. And a lot of times when we have these, I'm not good enough, or in these unhappy, negative mindsets, you feel like you don't belong at the table. But the reality is you own the table, because it's your table. It's your dream. And it doesn't matter if somebody else is doing, there's all these phenomenal women here that are speaking. We all coach in a particular area, and there can be another mindset coach as a speaker, but that's her dream business and her wealth room, which is going to be different than my dream business and my wealth room. We compare ourselves and we shy back, we step back, but it's being able to understand and identify those unhappy, negative mindsets so that you can own your room, and understanding that happiness is really the key to clarity. And it's clarity that opens the door to confidence. And it's confidence. When you have the confidence to open up that door, now you're in your wealth room. And so I help strong business-minded women identify those unhappy, negative mindsets, and the ones that are connected to their business, not everything, because otherwise, people could be coaching for years, because it took years for us to get to wherever we are. But focusing in one issue at a time that's related to progressing in your business, because I found for me, I would get stuck in the exact same place, and I couldn't figure out, I've got all this, I've written all of this, and because of the perfectionism, would get to a point, well, I can tweak this, I can tweak that. And I would look back and compare. Once I really mind shifted, because it's a journey. It's like, wait a minute, I wrote this program 3 years ago, and it's almost the same as it was the one 2 years ago and the one a year ago. You know what I mean? And so being able to get past that stuck position so that you're no longer procrastinating, you're no longer allowing those distractions to keep you from moving forward. And then when you identify those unhappy mindsets, then I help my clients activate what I call your my first you. And this is what I mean. When it's when say you're dating, and and you're in the beginning of that relationship, and you're excited and you're focused and you're motivated, and you're able to see things, at least you think you see things clearly, but there's a certain excitement that you have. And so with a my first you, I help the client, and I'll give you an example. You know how when your girlfriend got up and she's got a problem, and you're able to give her all this great advice on how to solve that problem. And the ironic thing is, it's a problem that you have too, but you haven't been able to implement that in your own life. So being able to kind of activate that, what I call your my first you mindsets, you're able to take those unhappy, negative mindsets that you've identified that are related to your business, and one by one be able to activate your problem solving ability, because it's already inside of you. You just need the help to bring it out. And then to be able to step 3, to be able to create what I call your happy habits that are going to help you shift and create new mindsets so that you really can progress in all 5 areas of wealth, because I believe there's 5 types of wealth. We hear about 4, but I add spiritual wealth, social wealth, health wealth, time freedom wealth, and financial wealth. A lot of times we are taught to kind of just rush to the financial wealth area, but when you don't have things balanced, then it's very difficult to progress the way you want to progress. And so when you take one identified unhappy negative mindset at a time, replace it with a new habit that will help you create a new mindset, then you have a plan that's going to shift in all 5 areas. And then what I do is show you how you can take those same simple tools, kind of mind shift and repeat, and add them to a new unhappy, a different unhappy mindset, so that bit by bit you're shifting bit by bit. And you can even get to the point where, as your business is scaling up and your confidence is high, your clarity is high, your wealth is increasing, you can do the same thing in your personal life, because there's going to be always something that we can shift so that we can keep intentionally having happiness in our life, having positivity in our life, and being able to not only empower ourselves, but empower the people that we were born to empower. Because I believe that there's always a group of people that each and every one of us is born to empower. And so I'm just super excited to be on this road where I'm at a stronger place, so that I can see clearer. As they say, I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. So I just wanted to share what I call the happy, wealthy mind shift, to be able to scale up your business, scale down the cushy job so that you can build wealth. Thank you so much.
Wow, awesome. Gwen, thank you so much for everything you shared. That's such a powerful message. And I mean, what I couldn't just get, it stuck with me, or kind of I want to highlight for a lot of our audience of women entrepreneurs, is that you are an attorney. And when I hear that, a lot of us get intimidated by all these credentials and all these, journeys. And I want women to know that at the end of the day, we all have our insecurities. No matter what new journey you start, no matter what background, and I saw this working with executive women in my career, I said, no matter what, at the end of the day, we all the same. We all have our fears. We all have our imposter syndrome. The more we want to scale and grow and evolve and grow anything in any area of our life, the more that is going to show up. So we need to really understand that this is just part of the process. And that's exactly what resonated when you were speaking and you introduced yourself as that attorney, and also shared your vulnerable message and story of how you also had to overcome so many things to get here where you are. And I love that you said that it's all a journey. There's no comparison. We all are on our individual paths, and they're so uniquely laid out, and we all have our different experiences. And you can have 2 people teach the same topic, but no 2 people are going to share the same perspective towards that, because they have a different life experience. So I think we need to also treat our businesses as that, and not believe in competition, but really empowering each other, especially as women, to support each other in business and really grow our network together, because we are bigger. We can do more beautiful, big things in the world with joining together and really supporting each other in whatever path that we have chosen and whatever impact that we want to make. So thank you so much, Gwen, for all of that. It was truly, truly inspiring.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Now I want to go to my next amazing speaker, Steph Palermo. Steph, looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better. Share with us, who you are and what is your mission in the world. What would you like to share with us today?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. So, and everybody's so amazing, and it just everything's resonating. So, my name is Steph Palermo. I'm an intuitive soul guide, healer, author, and international speaker. I help second lifers, influential second lifers, reclaim the life that was intended for them originally by way of my gifts of soul reading, healing, empathy, and encouragement. Second lifers are, empty nesters, newly single, and those starting over. Essentially, it's the over 40 crowd, but it can be some younger folks with old souls, I guess, that are interested in really taking back the life that was theirs from prior to coming into their skin. And the truth is we only have one go around in this skin, whatever your beliefs are. And so let's make it the best, right? Let's enjoy. So, I always say everybody has two lives. The second one begins when you realize you only have one. So my story is I was born with a rare disorder called Poland syndrome. It's right side affected. It affects more men than women. It's it's more the right side than the left side. They think it happens during the 6th week of gestation, where blood flow is diminished from one side, to one side of the body or the other or whatever. And some of us have just the hand. Some of us have just a missing pec muscle. I happen to have both. So essentially, I had some reconstructive surgery both ways, with hands. I grew up just in the hospital, trying to get the best use of my body. And so as far as that bullying is concerned, I've been through, I felt as a young child as the laughing stock, there's that real fear of public humiliation. And so as I experienced my spiritual gifts, I was afraid that, why would anyone believe me? Why would anyone buy what I have to say? I'm just a joke. And so I'm 55, and it's taken 55 years to kind of get a little, and you still struggle. You get all these, okay, well, damn it, I am that, believe me, so you kind of get, a little, things come up as, the journey continues, and you peel away the onion. And for me, helping people to recognize the beauty that they have, that they are, understanding their soul's purpose and how amazing they are. And because I had to do this, I had to understand my job, who I was, who I am, and my importance in this universe as far as my mission, and the fact that I chose this prior to coming into time, space, reality. And knowing that I chose this, I had to now take responsibility for my own choices going forward. There was my second life, boom, second life right here. And so I remember I was pacing in my this is shortly after I got divorced, and I was pacing in my townhouse or condo. I was blaming God for everything. Like, I made all these choices because of you, and you made me like this, and I didn't, and this is why. And then I go, oh my God, what if I chose this? And then I go, I did. I chose this. I chose this body. I chose this, my parents, my siblings, my heritage, my kids, my ex-husband, and I chose it all. And so now that I know all this, I've got to start choosing to write my own story. Now this is my story. All of that is not going to write my story. I'm the author. And it's funny because I think sometimes people tend to view me as maybe a lot stronger, because then I always felt weak, but it looked like I was just always, my mother would say with tears in her eyes, you always just had this drive in you. And that drive was to love me, to be okay with me. and to be comfortable in not just my skin, but in my gifts and in that connection to the divine, and in staying connected and not going rogue on my own, because it's in that connection that I can be the best version of me and give back. So I kind of wanted to touch on that power, the power that we have, the powerful women that we are. And sometimes the people in our lives might think that we're too much. You know, there's people that say they're not enough, but I think a lot of us come into relationships and we're like, oh, I'm just too much. Like, this is just too much to bear for anybody. And I thought I was alone in that for a long time, till I started to join some of the groups on the nice, powerful women groups that you belong to on Facebook, and you hear this and I go, oh, somebody else feels this way too. You know, and as somebody who came out of my marriage and then had to date, I was too much for some people. You know, I was too much. But that power, that being a powerful woman, we need to understand, it doesn't mean we have to be harsh, unloving, bitchy, unkind. It's in fact, that power that we have comes from, and if it's based and drawn from love, that is your superpower. And the first love is the love of self. And when we love ourselves, we embody compassion and empathy. And that's, you know, and then that energy is felt by the people around us. And then if you respect yourself and establish your own boundaries and love yourself and engage in extreme self-care, the people around us we train them how to treat us. And a lot of people are uneasy around powerful women or powerful people. They feel intimidated. And even if inside we feel like, are you kidding me? Because I would have this, I go, who would be intimidated by me? Hello? Do you want to walk in my shoes? Do you want to peel potatoes like I do? You know, and I think that's so crazy. But they are, because it's our joy and the way that we carry ourselves and live our lives, that best version of ourselves, getting on that path, that people who, first of all, have way too much time on their hands, or they are not living their best life, may look at that and be uneasy with that. So what do we do with that? How do we, as natural mothers, because that's what we are, we're caregivers, whether we're physical, biological mothers or not, we're created as women to be nurturing, which is part of it. And we have a lot of, that's adding to our list of to-dos, but it's kind of what we do. How do we make people feel easy about our power? Well, first of all, you're not responsible for anybody else's feelings. You just be, as long as you can put your head down every night knowing you did the next right thing, you can't worry about how everybody's feeling, but you can be that loving, compassionate person and still hold that power. And that is your power. So I want people to understand it's not juxtaposed. Love and power are not juxtaposed. In fact, it really isn't power if it's not rooted in love. So, I have 5 ways to kind of stay in that power. Okay. And the first one is extreme self-care. So extreme self-care is not just going to get your hair blown out, which I happen to do every single week. I get my hair blown out because it's easier and it looks better. But it makes me feel good about myself. But it's not just that. It's walking away or keeping at arm's length toxic people, relationships. It's also the thoughts that we have. and those beliefs that don't serve us that we carry forward. We love to take that luggage with us, whether it's from relationship to relationship, whether it's from one job to another. We just want to carry that baggage. Let it go. That's extreme self-care. Extreme self-care is saying, we're not going to talk about this right now. I need a minute.
Yeah.
When it's too heated. It's knowing that this isn't going to work for me right now. This isn't working for me. And being able to say that, establishing boundaries, that's extreme self-care. Compassion for others is number 2. Genuine care and love of neighbor is using your power and gifts to better the world. So compassion for others. Steer your own ship. You're the captain of your own ship. When you give the wheel to anybody or anything else, you're losing your power. You got to put on your big girl panties and steer your own ship, write your own story every day. I was talking to my mom the other day. I said, Mom, you are the author of your own story. We don't have to remember what happened. We don't have to talk about what happened when you were 5 or whatever, what happened when you were married to daddy. We can just, you can write your story right now. You can change it right now. This doesn't have to be what happened back then, doesn't have to be carried forward. Write your own story, steer your own ship, put on your big girl panties. The 4th one is adopt an attitude of service. When we are willing to serve, then we are true leaders. That's where our power is. And you want to serve your higher self first. You want to serve yourself, because we tend to serve everybody else first. I know it's cliche, but you got to put that oxygen mask on first. It always starts with the self. So, and you have the opportunity to be examples of true power to men and children. Think about the example that we need to be, so that, like I said earlier, we train people on how to treat us, and men included. And we also have this great opportunity to show younger women in our lives, whether it's daughters, my nieces, what it means to be a powerful woman. So that attitude of service is such a great example to the people around us. And it's not weak. And then there's gratitude and generosity. So gratitude is, sometimes when you're in a state, people are like, all right, well, thank God this, and, they need to deal with what's going on. You have to be in a right space, but being grateful every day opens you up to receiving. But then what happens, an offshoot and sort of a sidebar to gratitude, is generosity. And I would encourage everybody to be generous with their time, their talent. And if it works, your pocketbook, if that is if that's aligned to you. So, it's important when we're generous, again, starting with ourselves, we can, we foster that, we change the world, where it's like a domino effect. So I just want people to understand that being powerful means being aligned, staying in your lane, you're purpose-driven, but you're living your best life, your happiest life. And it's such a great example. And doing it with love, and living in love, and being that example of love, it's life-changing for yourself and for everybody else around you.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. I resonate so much, and I love your intuitive gifts. Those are gifts, so definitely keep sharing those with the world as well. And don't dim your light. And you are the author of your own story, and of course, all the other amazing pillars that you shared with us as values to live by, so that we are that powerful person, and most important, happy and fulfilled with everything that we choose to do. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was awesome. Will be going now to my next speaker, Christina Moyes. Christina, thank you so much for being here and share with us what you have for us today.
Thank you so much. Hi, Elena. Hi, everyone. It's so lovely to be here, surrounded by so many women who are speaking about empowering women and really living their best life full of love, living their limitless potential. And this is what we're here for, right? We are here to acknowledge the power that we have, the limitless power we have within us, and to allow ourselves to step into that zone and to live the life of our dreams. And speaking about that, my mission, and actually what I do is I work with women, and I teach them how to step into that power to transform their lives and to transform their stories, because oftentimes we take the stories of our past and make them our destiny, when in fact what happened in the past is what happened in the past, and it's the biggest source of wisdom for us going forwards. So no matter how dramatic, or how bad it was, we have that strength, we have that inner wisdom within us, and by tapping into it and by changing the stories of the past, it's like this is when we start living miracles every day in our lives, because by embracing the whole of who we are, and that's basically the theme of self-love, by accepting everything that you have been through, accepting the whole of who you are. This is when you can truly transform and enjoy life to its fullest. Now, I love teaching NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, and also HUNA. Now, there's a reason for me doing that, because I've been in this field for over 5 years now. And as life would have it, I was, in my corporate, career, living the corporate life and dream. And then all of a sudden, things started to not make sense anymore. I felt like I did not belong there anymore. And although I heard the signals, because life has a way of pointing to you that, hey, there's time to change. But unless we pay attention to those signals, which I didn't, because I didn't know back then that, there was such a thing. So I postponed changing and transforming my career and my life overall. So then I got literally pushed, into a corner, and the message was, it's now or never. So I took that opportunity of now or never, and I realized that I don't want something, that it's going to take me another lifetime to heal or change. I want fast results. I want them now, and I want them to have a ripple effect, not only in my life, but in the life of the people, around me. So this is how I came across these modalities. And the reason why I love them so much is because they help me, and they help the people, in my life, and the people that come and join my trainings create change fast, transform at a deeper level fast. And it's all about really understanding, the conscious mind, the unconscious, and also the higher conscious mind that everybody speaks about right now. And it's so great that everybody's open, and we are experiencing really amazing times. So NLP is all about teaching you about the conscious mind, the language, paying attention to the words you're saying to yourself, the stories that you're telling yourself, and then picking yourself from there and really start questioning that story, softening that, and changing the stories of your past. It's one of the best places to start in transforming yourself. Now, there's also this element of the unconscious mind, and I teach all this together because here's the conscious mind, and then we have beneath it, there's the unconscious mind. And then on top of them, it's the higher conscious mind. Now, the unconscious mind and the ancient, people of Hawaii, in their teachings of Huna, they knew this, and that's back, over 2,000 years ago. They knew about the conscious mind, they knew about the unconscious mind and the higher conscious mind, and actually they had beautiful representations of them in form of statues. They call those tikis. And for example, the conscious mind was represented as a figure, which was just a face, of a character, but no feet. That character is not touching the ground, which is really amazing and a really beautiful way to actually have people understand that what we perceive with our conscious mind, what we think we see through our senses, it's only a very tiny little piece of everything that's available out there. It has not, the conscious mind doesn't have a direct contact with the ground, with the reality. And this is what this kind of, tiki and personification that it's telling us. And that's because the unconscious mind is the one that has this direct connection with with everything that's out there. Now, the thing is that we want to tap into this beautiful potential, into this limitless life that's all out there for us. But the thing is that the conscious mind does not necessarily have a direct connection with the higher conscious mind. They're very close to each other, but they don't communicate, have a direct line of communication with each other. And they do so through the unconscious mind. That's why it's so important for us to grow. It's just like we're like a tree. A beautiful tree, in order to grow, it has to grow deep roots. And for us to grow, we need to grow deep roots and go into our unconscious mind, clean up, negative emotions, limiting beliefs, and, stuff, stories from our past that, keep us in one area or another, and then tap into the limitless potential and really working at the higher conscious, level and connecting with your innate wisdom and, your real amazing potential. This is how you get to quantum leap into your life. But then we have to, it's all about us being willing to face and to really understand what is going on inside my mind, inside my life, my head, what's going on inside me that's actually causing my life, my reality to look that way, because they're always a reflection. And as Hermes Trismegistus would say, it is as within, so without. Whatever is inside of me is outside of me. And that's the biggest, one of the greatest realizations, understanding that, reality as it is, it's a reflection of who you are. And yet you have that power within yourself by changing your inner reality to change your outer world. And this is how we create magic into our lives, is really by going inside ourselves and cleaning those projections, really changing those stories, paying attention to the assumptions, paying attention to life, and then changing that. Because the thing is, you cannot change the people in your life. You cannot go and say, hey, my the love of my life, come, right now, or change your parents or change your kids. But by changing yourself, you can change that. And actually, I've experienced that ever since I went down this path. I was in a terrible place in my relationship. I was, thinking I'm a terrible mom. I was not, I was in that place where nothing was right. But then by changing myself, everything changed like a 360 degree. And my relationship completely changed, the relationship with my kids, everything, took an amazing, shift. And this is by accepting where you are, where I was, and really understanding how these mechanisms that we have inside ourselves really work together, because they're not like separate, pieces. We are like one beautiful, a mechanism and beautiful bundle of energy that is, just ready to embrace life, embrace the world, and carry us forwards through the path of transformation. And life has this beautiful, wisdom and thread, or blueprint, if you want. It has its phases. It takes us through milestones. There is a reason why there is a midlife crisis, but people get this, we are not educated into that. And we don't understand why the heck is this all happening to me? Because all of a sudden we wake up and feel like, I wasn't ready for this. I thought my life was different. How come, nothing makes sense anymore? And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And when you wake up and you understand that life has this wisdom, and we need to embrace that moment and understand what is actually life telling me now. Because it's not a crisis, it's the moment for us to go, inside and really get to know ourselves. Who am I? What is my purpose? What am I doing here? How can I best, live my life? This is actually what life tells us when it throws at us things that are so obvious, that it makes us wake up, to this thing. So that's my message, and that's my story, that by going really inwards and acknowledging who you are, and understanding that you have the power to change your reality by really going inside and changing all of that, you can have a meaningful shift in your life, and you can create a beautiful shift in other people's lives. This is what I do. This is what I love doing. And I simply love, seeing the stories of the women that come and join my trainings, and they're completely living a whole different life. It's like they cast themselves in a whole different movie all of a sudden by going through these amazing transformations.
Yeah.
Lovely to be here, and a lifetime of growth and evolution. It's really something that I really appreciate and I live up to. And I'm really thankful and grateful for being here with you, with like-minded women, and transforming our lives and the lives of the people around us.
Well, thank you so much, Christina, for everything you shared. It was very informational also to really understand the awareness of, why does these things happen to us? Because a lot of times people don't have the awareness of what's happening, especially with our conscious mind and how that works. And, understanding that we have our inner world reflects our outside world. So really going within and having someone like you that could support people through that process is really awesome. So thank you so much for everything you shared with us today.
Thank you so much, Elena.
All right,
Thanks.
awesome. We have planned for the hour. The hour is going by. We have one more amazing speaker, so stay with us because we will be getting inspirational message from each of our speakers at the end to wrap up our summit today. But I would like to invite my last but not least speaker, Marcilda Bialziak, to the stage to share with us what she does and what she likes to share with the world, her message.
Hi, everyone. You can hear me all right? Because I'm using like a different headset today. Yeah, it's such a pleasure hearing your stories, and what you do is really empowering to see different sides of coaching business, the services you offer. It's just like sometimes like when you start your entrepreneurship journey, there's so much you don't know. But then the more people you meet, the more journeys you meet, like you start like understanding like, okay, I'm not alone in this. There's other people going through the same type of journey as me. And hopefully we learn and support one another, as we really do as women have a power in us. Like you don't usually see hashtag men empowerment. There's a reason why there's hashtag women empowerment. So hopefully we keep that going. And thank you, Ilona. I really appreciate what you're doing for the community. Just a little bit about me. I moved from Albania to US like 11 years ago. My story is a little bit different. I fell in love with my husband. He was born here, and we kind of like, it's kind of like a fairy tale, to be honest. I never expected to move to US, leave my parents behind and my family, let alone marry to a husband that was not Albanian, because Albanians are so like connect with one another. We have such a unique culture that I feel like we only relate with one another. But that was not the case for me. When I moved here, even though I had a degree in Albania, I had years of experience on sales. I started from scratch because it was literally a culture shock, even though I did American studies. So right away I went to college. I finished my second degree from University of Connecticut, UConn, for marketing business, because I really was passionate about marketing. I was passionate about just understanding social media and all of that. When I went to college, this was like my second degree, but I think it was like 9 years ago or maybe something like that. I still didn't learn much about marketing. And it was so surprising to me, like thousands of dollars later, that here I have a degree in hand and I still don't know how to help a startup, or I help my client to grow on social media, but not just grow followers to grow. Because at the end of the day, it might look nice for you guys to have a lot of followers, but like, what does it mean? Like, is that bringing you more business? Is it bringing you more friends? Probably not. So what's the purpose, right? So my whole experience, like after that, was to like just get and learn on my own. So I started like working with startups, different kind of startups, different type of industry. And I learned on my own how to grow on social media with no paid ads. Nothing in school taught me other than experience and my own research and putting every theory I learned into practice. And it took like a long time. It took almost like 8 years. After working with different startups and social media specialists, I'm like, you know what? I wanted something more like corporate level. So that's where I ended up like working for a corporate almost like 5 years. And I went through different stages, from sales to marketing, product management, and just understanding like what makes clients like say yes. From that cold call that they never saw me, because I couldn't like meet people in person, from a campaign, from an email, like what made them say yes at the end of the day, and what type of sales cycles you have to follow, or sometimes it's even like involved psychologically. And a lot of people that are in the business, they probably know that sales is like 90% psychological, and then the rest is like basically actions, right? So what I did is like, even though I had all this experience in my corporate, I felt like something was missing. Like we all have that inner voice in us at a certain point, and we all have like a different inner voice. And there's like that head, like, oh, like you should do this, or you should open your own business, you should start this, you should start your own boutique line, or whatever that might be. But we always like say like, shh, like you like stop, like, because you're so scared. We all are scared. Like something that is unknown to all of us is hard to start unless you start it, right? And I always like say shush to my inner voice of opening my own business, because I saw my mom having her own business, how stressful she was. And honestly, I just felt like I was not going to be good enough. I felt not confident. I felt like, I'm good in corporate, at least like I have a job, right? But just like a month before the pandemic, coincidentally, I was on maternity leave. I had to go back to work, and there was so much stuff going on with my daughter, my infant at that time, that I just couldn't be full time at a desk. And I needed more flexibility. I needed more freedom to be around my kids. So I asked my company, I gave them a business plan, and to my shock and surprise, even though they really needed me, even though I did a great job, even though I changed so much, they just couldn't like let go of the fact that, well, if we do it for you, we have to do it for everybody else, because it's corporate level. So like they have their corporate policies. And to my shock, I realized that it doesn't matter like how much you can step up the ladder in the corporate world, you're just a number. Like it's never going to be about you, right? So that was kind of like my call to be, you know what, I quit. And I'm going to take my own ownership of my own journey. So I started my business as a consultant because, I had all this knowledge and experience by working with different clients. If it's Europe, if it's US, I had this experience with sales and social media. And you need to understand both of them if you need to grow your business. Because a lot of people, they'll like post to post, and they'll create like this post and create this like really good content. Like let's say all your stories, if you had to make them in a post, they're great stories. But how are you making the stories to grow on social media, nurture your audience so they'll become your clients? That's like a whole different strategy. And there's like so much work into it. So when I started my consulting business, right away, I saw that my clients really needed someone that had that expertise to literally train their social media managers and the sales team, because you can hire someone, but if you, the owner yourself, doesn't know what you don't know, then how are you supposed to like teach your person that you hired that, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z. So I really saw the need, and that's what I did. Like I offer one-on-one customized coaching to everyone, and even like how to do reels, content strategy, content pillars for the business, how to nurture your audience and community to basically turn them, those followers, into paid clients. But on top of it, because a lot of these people, yes, they learned that they did a strategy, but they still didn't have the time to do it, because it takes a lot of work to post on social media, repost content, post on YouTube, video editing, and all that. So they still needed a team, and that's like made me empowered to open my own social media agency, where I provide my coaching in the package but we do it all for you. So you don't have to do anything. All you do is like be on meetings or be on lives or do what you do best and let us handle the rest. I also love to like empower others and help in any way. So that's why I always offer a 30 minutes strategy session. This is free of charge. I'm not trying to like, sell you anything. It's just me trying to help you direct your message in a way that is simple, that resonate with more people and grow your following and grow your sales in any way. So I'll probably like add a link if you guys want to book your free session. But yeah, like Marcela Bialchak, let me know. Like I post so much free content, free training on YouTube that it's just like all my knowledge is out there, but it all depends on like what industry and niche you're in for me to make it customizable.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much, Marcilda, for sharing your story. And I know you build an amazing agency there, so you have a lot of customized packages for anyone that's looking to monetize. But at the end of the day, it's really about building genuine audiences that we can impact. It's not about the followers, it's about the quality, not the quantity. So I know you help with the process of how to actually do that. And that's something that is so needed out there. So thank you so much for everything that you had to share. And everyone, I want to thank you. I mean, this was the food for my soul for the week. I was filling up with every story that you had to share. So I really hope the audience took away a lot of nuggets of wisdom and also inspiration to last them maybe a month, because as entrepreneurs, we always need, to inspire each other and to move forward so that we can, be the best version of ourselves while we're building our own businesses. So I know we went over our hour. I'm going to ask each one of my amazing speakers to share one final message and also a way to connect with you further. So I will start with Danielle. Danielle.
I just had to unmute myself. I thought anyway, one final message. Okay, one final message is that burnout is dangerous. It is dangerous for your mental health. It is dangerous for your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, but it is avoidable. And there are strategies and techniques and tips and tools that I can offer. But really it is about getting together and uncovering what are the things that you are doing that are actually creating that burnout for you. What are the things that you tell yourself? And how do we help you change your mind about those? And how you can get in touch with me is you can follow me on my personal page, which is just Danielle Wilson, or you can join me in my group, which is actually called Anxious Female Overachievers Avoid Burnout and Create Balance. And in that, of course, I give lots of tips and training. So
great. And ladies, I will give you the opportunity, because this will be streamed live inside our Facebook group, Badass Mission Driven Entrepreneurs Community, to also post the link of where people can find you. So it's just easier to reach you. So thank you so much for sharing that, Danielle. And Edith.
So final message is that we are born with a purpose, and until we don't discover that purpose, we just out there. So we get to stand as a source to transform other lives and be of service of others. And the way you can connect with me, the website is www.couragemagazineglobal.com, and you can always find me at Edith Wolek everywhere or Courage Magazine Global.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And my next speaker is Gwen.
I just wanted to share that no matter what you've been through, no matter what has been said to you, said about you, you are beautiful. You are destined for something great. You have a right to be happy. You have a right to have wealth in all areas of your life. And I can be, you can connect with me on Instagram. You can connect with me on Facebook. I do have a Facebook group as well. There's a link in my bio in Instagram. It is Get Happy and Wealthy with Gwen. On Facebook, my page is just Gwen Davis Yancey, attorney and Mindshift Wealth Strategist. and I'm on LinkedIn, and I have a Linktree link where you can either set up if you're interested in booking me for speaking, if you're interested in a strategy call, or you're interested in one of my Happy Wealthy Mind Shift programs, you can set up a discovery call as well. Thank you.
Hey, awesome. Many great ways to connect with you. Thanks for sharing that, Gwen, with us. And Christina.
Yeah, it was, beautiful to be part of this group and this session today with so many powerful and inspiring women. My last message is that you are powerful beyond, your belief, beyond what you think you can do, and what you have achieved so far. It's only a part of it. Each and every one of us can be so much more, and just allow yourself to dream, believe in that dream, and start walking towards that dream with every single thought and action that you take. Wildly believing in yourself, it's the best gift you can give yourselves. People who are interested in, completely changing their lives, transforming who they are, and becoming, making their dreams come alive, they can find me on Facebook. I'm Christina Moyes, and also on Instagram, LinkedIn, and I'll drop the link for people who want to connect with me.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina. And Marcilda.
So since I was talking about the inner voice, I guess it's like if you have like that vision in you, like what your business or even your life wants to be in 10 years or 15 years, literally take that, write it on paper, and outline steps and even timeline of what you need to do by what time in order for you to achieve it. And you'll be surprised of when you put a timeline that is like shorter, like the more rush you have, how much you can achieve, right? So it's all about putting it into paper and literally do it. And the things that make you comfortable, don't do it. Get out of your comfort zone. Like I don't like, for example, like a lot of things I didn't like when I started my business, but I had to do it. I had to do reels, and like I had to be silly on reels in a way and get it completely out of my comfort zone. But that like inspired me to have fun with myself and build a community and relate with other communities. So like you never know what you're capable of doing until you do it. So listen to your inner voice and just get going.
Okay, awesome. And Marcilda, I think you mentioned where people can connect with you. Where is it they can find you?
Yeah, I've put it on the chat, but Marcilda Białczak, or even expand2market.com, which is the number 2, expand2market.com. And, I even put the link for the free session if anyone was interested.
All right, awesome. Well, I thank you all, amazing speakers, for everything that you had to share with us today. And I really, again, thank you all for watching us, and hope that this was a very inspirational summit. And I'm looking forward to having our next summit for next month under a different theme. Thank you so much, everyone, again. And thanks for joining us, and have a beautiful rest of your Thursday and great weekend. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.